I'm looking for people to give me feedback so that we can make this even better. And in the process, you'll learn a lot about a number of books. You'll see what I've done here. I've actually got a lot of books, and well, I say a lot. There's about 150 books in here, personal development and books around all sorts of different things. And I'm sure that you'll see some of these books and recognize them, and maybe they're on your shelf, maybe you've read them, maybe you haven't.
I
Um,
have so many of these on my bookshelf that I have not read or I have not finished.
what I'm going to show you today is going to give you an opportunity to get the insights from them without having had read it. So, the first thing on this app, um, the first thing on this app is we need to set up a profile. So what I've done here is I've created this app where we have a very basic profile in the system. That profile, I'll show you here, if I clicked on this little profile button here, is it's as much information as you want to give it. Now, this profile doesn't go anywhere. It stays on your device. Whatever device you're using, it'll stay on that device. So it's not shared with me, it's not shared with anywhere, it's just on your system. And it's asking for your roles in your life. Your life and work. So I'm a mum, I've got two boys, 19 and 16. I look after my elderly parents, but I'm also an online community manager in Meetup with Maya and with an AI business change consultant as well. Whoops, go back to the profile. So, so that's what I've told it about myself. You can give it as much information as you want. It also asks for things that you like to do, your favorite hobby or favorite interests. I've put cooking and traveling here, but you could put tennis or football, running or um, baking or knitting or painting or whatever it is that whatever it is that you are enjoy doing. You add this into this box here. And then what the system will do is it will knowing a little bit about you, will explain and give you an overview of the book, but in a way that really resonates with you and your interests. So it gives you a more personalized overview and then the opportunity to really engage with the teachings of the book. You can toggle your hobby and interest off if you want to stop using that metaphor. But I'll show you first what it's like with that metaphor on it. And also you just give anything else that your coach, your book coach might like to know about you. So I'm just going to add in here a time is always a juggling act for me. Very little me time and seem very stressed and tired much of the time. But you can add whatever you want and just save that. When you click save, you will then be taken to this library, which has all the books that you've seen here. Now you can have two views on this library. You can look at it with it's not got all the pictures in here, but it's got a number of them. Or you can just look at a list here of the books, and you can sort that by category, or you could sort it by author, or you could just do a search for a particular book, a bit of the name or a bit of the author's name, and it will find the book for you if it's in the library. Alternatively, what you can do is you can ask and say, right, I've got some something I particularly want to work on. Let's say it's got here an example. I want to stop procrastinating. I'm going to say um, time management. I just write time management and I'll know what I'm talking about.
And I assume if you tell it more, it'll give you a more nuanced response.
Yes, but basically, this isn't your coach. This is a bookfinder. So this is
Ah,
basically going to help you find within the library the books that perhaps are going to help you deal with whatever it is that you want to deal with. So I'm saying I want to look at time management. It's giving me a few suggestions here: getting things done, 4,000 weeks, deep work, feel good, productivity. And from here, you can just click on getting things done. Sounds like that might be a good one. So you can click on that and it will take you to this screen here, which is the book page. And then you start interacting with that book. So it starts off by giving you a brief overview of the book, but knowing, as you say, says Karen, as a busy mum, carer, and professional, juggling so many roles, you know the feeling of. So it basically. I'm just going to close this little thing because I can't see otherwise. So basically, gives you an overview of the book, but kind of relating a little bit to me, on based on the information that I've given it so far. So I said I like cooking, and it said, well, this groundbreaking methodology offers a recipe for clarity, much like a well-organized kitchen makes cooking a joy instead of a chore. So basically, it's feeding back the essence of the book, the content of the book, but in a way that resonates very much with me because I like cooking. So I'm going to understand what it's really saying on a different level to if I were to read a very generic summary because it's relating it back in a way that I can, oh, right, okay, in the kitchen, yeah, yeah, seeing cooking as a well-organized kitchen is more of a joy than it is a chore. So it brings it to life. It brings the book and the teachings to life for you. Now, it's important to add here that this is all AI generated. Okay, these are not the words of the author per se. They are a take of the words from the author based on your profile. Okay. Um, and it's a good intro. It gives you a good overview of the teachings of the book, of what it's all about, how it can be applied to yourself, and maybe whether you want to read the whole thing or not. You don't need to, because actually what we can give you through this is a really good personalized introduction and kind of a plan to apply the teachings of that book to you in your circumstances. So as you can see here, it's asking me how would I like to explore this book today? Do I want a personalized overview? Do I want to explore concepts, stories and lessons and action plan, or do I just have a question? So I can engage with it however I choose here. So I'm just going to choose one and get a personalized overview. Now this overview, so it's asking me here, what is my main goal or area that I'd like to work on, or is there no context that I want to give it? So if I had something specific in mind, I could put this here and it would help me understand the book with that in mind and therefore apply it more in my world. I'm just going to say no context here because I just want it to give me a general insight into the book. So it's going to give me a general insight into the book, but it's going to be personalized to me, as I said before. So it's going to, it knows my roles, it knows my hobbies or my favorite hobbies, and it knows a little bit whatever I've chosen to give it. So now it's saying, right, that's fine that I've got no context. Except we can still craft a truly insightful and personalized journey through their teachings, drawings, and what they know about me already. Okay, so now it's coming back to the fact that I like cooking and I like traveling. So it says, imagine planning a magnificent trip or orchestrating a complex multi-course dinner party. You could just throw ingredients together or set off without a map. You wouldn't just throw ingredients together or set off without a map, would you? So basically, it's giving me the teachings and the concepts in this book, but applying it in a way that makes sense for me based on something that I enjoy doing. So it resonates with me on a deeper level than if I were to read a generic response. Now, as you can see, this then goes into an overview of the book, but relaying it back throughout to my interests. So it really does connect more with me than if I were to read it a general insight into the book. Having said that, if you recall, when I went onto my profile, there was a toggle there. I'll go back to that. And that toggle was to say I want to toggle off using my interests. Now, I put this option here because some people might want that. Some people might not. But let me take another book here. Let's see. I'll just
No excuses, Brian Tracy.
sorry, say that again.
Brian Tracy's No Excuses.
Um,
Just a little further down. You just passed it, actually. Stop, stop, stop. Stop.
right, yeah.
Right there.
Okay. So now it comes again into this book page, and on the book page, it's weaving its magic. It gives me an overview of the book. And if you can see here,
This one is a lot drier.
it's dry. Yeah, exactly. It's not actually giving me any kind. It knows what I do for a living and it knows my roles in life, but it's not giving me the explanation, which I'm going to say no context again.
So it doesn't get the metaphors that it would have grabbed from whatever your hobby was, or,
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And you know, sometimes you want that,
Mhm.
but sometimes you don't. With me working through this app and playing around with it and getting the value, sometimes I just want to get the bare bones of it, and other times actually, you know, if I really, really, I suppose maybe because I've been testing it, sometimes I'm just looking at it to test it rather than to really
Mm.
learn the knowledge. But when I really want to learn the knowledge, then actually using my hobbies and my interests is far better. It just connects with me on a much deeper level.
I'm thinking
Um,
also if you switched to apply mode, it might make more sense and resonate more when you're saying, okay, think of it like if you were, in my case, painting.
yeah,
You do layers. You don't do everything at once. You take the tiniest little thing and start there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, so, you know, you have the option, therefore, to choose whether you want to use it for your own
And
and
I
connect
failed
it
to
to your,
maintain discipline, says Hurriyo.
yeah. So then you can just carry on from here. So, what would I like to explore? Do I want to explore these concepts in more detail? So I could say, um, strategic time management. Let me just say, okay, I want to go into strategic time management. Let's explore this more. Okay. And basically, you can, right? Okay. So before we dive deeper, how does the idea of this resonate with my current situation? Considering the feeling of being stressed and tired, having little time for me, what aspects of daily time management feel most challenging right now? Juggling too many things out of my control.
So if you've got questions, folks, drop them in the chat and we'll answer them in the Q&A bit in just a few minutes.
So here it goes in a lot more detail into the strategic time management element. Okay. So basically you can delve deep into the teachings of the book and really get some valuable lessons in a way that really will resonate with you and have a deeper impact than possibly reading the book or reading a summary, you know, an objective summary of the book that's not personalized to you. But in addition to that, can you help me apply this? That's in my life.
So you can come at that from here as well as going through the
Yeah.
original prompts there. Okay.
Once you're in this book page, you can chat to your book coach,
Right.
and explore it however you want to, really. So it's saying, okay, yeah, that's fine, fantastic. It wants to know a little bit more. What specific situation, challenge, or goal would I like this action plan to address? I will just say, competing demands on my time are stressful. I want to be managing it better. Okay, so before we build up, there are many important consideration, constraints, challenges I would take in consideration. For example, so it's asking for as much information as I'm happy to give it to then help me put an actual action plan in place. So, when you read a book, that's all well and good, but like we said, very often might have an aha moment, but you don't do anything about it. This actually helps you understand the book on a deeper level beyond just reading it, because you get the essence of it, you get it applied to you in a way that really resonates well with you. You then can explore and converse around the concept so you can really get an understanding of it. And then you can say, okay, well, how can I apply this to me? And if you give it enough information, it can really help you put action steps in place so that you can start to make those changes and bridge that gap I talked about before from reading to doing. So, in many cases, many books on my shelf are sitting there unread. So now I've got the
Mhm.
opportunity to actually learn the core teachings of the book, not having read it, within minutes, and then delve into the bits that are relevant to me, see how it can work and be applied in my world, and then put an action plan together. So I'm going to say nothing particular here because I'm just trying to get through this. But really, if you're going to do this properly, you would actually say, well, what are the considerations? What constraints or limitations do you have? What does the coach need to know about what you want to achieve so that it can really help you put an action plan together? And so
So if you are, for example, at a 9 to 5, you could say things like, I don't get time during the daytime. It has to be in the evening. I do my cooking after that. I only have 30 minutes a day, whatever it is that could restrict what it is you're able to achieve in a day.
yeah, exactly. And then it comes up with an action plan with some key action steps that I can take forward. What to do, why it matters, and how to get started, which is an excellent way forward. And then it'll say to me, okay, my first move is to take 15 minutes to identify my top 3 to 5 demands of my time, circle the single most important frog from that list. Does it? So it's also giving me an opportunity to revise that plan. If that plan doesn't work for me, if I say, well, actually, yes, but no. And then talk to it, engage with it, and it can help you. So it's so much more than like providing you a book summary in a very bland, generic way. It really starts to coach you on this. Now that's as far as this app goes at the moment, although I have got plenty of thoughts around where
Hmm.
it can go from here. But I would really appreciate some feedback and thoughts on whether you would like to actually get 30 days to give this a trial and help beta test it for me, basically, and give some feedback because I absolutely love it. I mean, honestly, I dip into it, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, I dip into it. Or if I'm feeling like, oh, I'm procrastinating right now, I need a little bit of nuggets to help me kind of get out of that mode that I'm in. This says it in a way that resonates nicely with me when I've got that hobbies and interests on, because it just connects with something that I like doing, and it connects in a way that, it just makes sense.
Yeah. I can see this being really a good addition to anyone who's got a bookshelf full of books they haven't read or that they're planning to read.